Hey friends, welcome back to Channel Surf with Jazz. I'm Jazz, and if this is your first time here, I watch a shit ton of TV. And one of the shows that I like to watch is The Real Housewives of Potomac. I've been recapping it since episode 3 of season 10, and I've been joined by some other Bravo celebrities, but mostly I've been joined by other creators. Now, today is a special day because we are joined by somebody so special. I have been following this person for so long, watching their journey. They are a producer of Watch What Happens Live. So, I'm going to ask about that Bravo tea, but they are also the CEO of the Reality Rundown. And I know if you're a reality TV connoisseur, you've seen the Reality Rundown. So, without further ado, let's welcome Wellington. Hi, Wellington.
Hi, Jazz. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited that we are finally doing this. I feel like, I don't know, something about your energy. I'm like, I can't believe it took us this long to do
I
something like
know.
this.
I know. It's just, organization and scheduling takes a lot, but I've been wanting to do this and I am so excited to be here.
Yes, because you are a busy, busy man. Like I said, you're a producer of Watch What Happens Live with Andy
hmm
Cohen. And then you also are the CEO of the Reality Rundown, which is its own media empire in and of itself. Tell people a little bit about the Reality Rundown.
So the reality rundown started 8 years ago as just a hobby of mine. I used to work in news, hard news, and while I was there, the reality rundown served as my hobby to talk about other things that were not hard news related. And then my career took me to Bravo, and somehow I ended up on Watch What Happens Live. And then as that took off, the reality rundown, I started seeing a different vision for the reality rundown in the sense of this could actually, with my background in news and my background in journalism, I can actually turn this into a professional media outlet that covers the unscripted industry. And that's been my goal. And we're going strong, 50,000 followers and up. It's been great. We've done a lot of things, and I'm just very grateful. Thank God.
Yeah, that's amazing. You guys, if you see any of my short form videos on TikTok or Instagram, a lot of times I am using a reality rundown
So much. I
story.
appreciate it.
Yeah. It's amazing. I love it. And like you said, it covers all things reality TV. And you said you were a hard news journalist before, and then you ended up at Bravo. Can you tell people a little bit about how that happened? Because I'm sure they want to know how you ended up at Bravo and then how you ended up on Watch What Happens Live.
It's so crazy. So when I used to work at CNBC, which is a business news channel, I had a coworker there that me and her used to talk about housewives all the time. She was also a fan. And I remember her telling me, like, you need to work in that area, like at least in entertainment, because you have an eye for that. And I see you, like, I like the way that you talk about that stuff, and I think that you'll be great. And she also knew that I've always been in production, but she also knew that I wanted to be in front of the camera and get some on air experience. So that conversation was just a conversation that we were having at work. And then one day she says, I'm going on a trip with a bunch of girlfriends, and my friend's friend works at Watch What Happens Live, and I'm going on a trip with her. So if you want, give me your resume and I'll give it to my friend so that she can give it to her friend. Like it was a whole chain. So it
Yeah.
wasn't like a direct
Mhm.
recommendation, right? And I said, listen, there's nothing to lose from this, and there's so much to gain.
Mhm.
And to be completely honest, I really didn't. I don't want to call it imposter syndrome because I saw a video from Shonda Rhimes that said imposter syndrome is for people that have mental illness. And ever since then, I don't call it imposter syndrome anymore because that kind of does make sense. Why am I
Right.
telling
You're not
myself,
mentally ill.
no, why am I telling myself that I'm an imposter? No, I was meant to be here.
Mhm.
So, but I think that, I was like, it's so far fetched. I don't know if this is actually gonna happen. Girl, they called me back. They emailed
Whoa.
me. Months later, they emailed me.
Wow.
Months
Wow.
later, they emailed me. And it's so funny because the day before they emailed me, I had a friend that in the space as well that she was like, hey, Watch What Happens Live is looking for, you know how we do virtual callers?
Mhm.
So they reached out to me wanting me to come on as a virtual caller. And this is like, now knowing how my team works, the research team was doing this separately to what management was doing on
Yeah.
the other side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they're scheduling me as a virtual caller. And it was Kiki Palmer and Karamo. It was a show that had both of them on. And I was a virtual caller for that show. And when I came on the screen, Karamo loved my charisma. Andy loved my charisma. And we were just like cackling.
Yes.
Um,
Come on,
and
charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent.
Thank you. And the next day, I received the email. So me being at my job now and knowing how things work, I was like, yeah, literally we're sitting in the control room, saw my face pop up, remembered that y'all had interviewed me and said, oh, that's the kid that we interviewed. We need to reach out back to him. Because
Oh.
I see now that I'm in there, I see how things is very fast paced
Mhm.
and there's a lot going on all the time. And
Mhm.
our show is very different. You know what I'm saying? So we're
Yeah.
always so I can see them talking to me because when they first talked to me, they told me that there wasn't an opening in the team, but that my resume was impressive and they wanted to get to know me. So I think that that reminder, me coming on that screen, everything just happened, was aligned for me to
Yes.
get that job.
It,
So yeah, it's a crazy story, but that's how I ended up at Watch What Happens Live.
it happened as it was supposed to. Because
Hmm.
what a journey! And now you're a producer. So are you working in the control room when we see the show happening live, or like what do you do to make the show happen?
So when I first started working at Watch What Happens Live, I came in as an associate producer, and all at that time, all I was taking care of were like elements, videos, and stuff like that that were being aired on the show.
Mhm.
2 years later, I received a promotion, so now I do post production for the show. So I do sit in the control room when the shows is being filmed. I do have Andy in my ear, but what my job is now is that after the show gets taped, I'm the one that decides what gets cut after, let's say, we're overtime, or if a talent has a request to cut something out, because that always happens. I'm the one that has to figure out, okay, if we're cutting this, what are we adding to, so I'm the one that takes care of the post-production for the episodes. And I'm also the one that took care of the post-production for the BravoCon live episodes. I also sometimes there's different opportunities that come around. For example, I was the producer that produced the Candy Lifetime Achievement Award
Yes,
video,
I was gonna bring that up.
and
Yes.
that was huge for me. I also did Vicky's her the first time we ever did that award.
Yeah.
So I feel good. I did the first housewife and I did the first black housewife.
Uh-huh.
So I'm so good. Sometimes when Below Deck and those smaller shows, smaller, but they have bigger ratings, when those smaller shows come around, they tap some of our producers to like work on reunions and stuff like that. So I'm all over. I'm all over. But what my primary job is to do post production for the Watch What Happens live episodes.
I love that. I love knowing about this journey and knowing how everything works. So, final question about Bravo, and then we're
Hmm.
gonna move on to why we are really here.
Okay.
You have met so many Bravo celebrities. Who is your favorite Bravo celebrity?
Candace Diller Bassett. With that, you see how I didn't like no type of
Candace High.
thinking, no type of, I don't have to even think about it. Candace Diller Bassett. Let me tell you a
Absolutely.
story about Candace Diller Bassett and why I love her so much. When you have a brand that you're building from the ground up and you're choosing to build a brand with respect, journalistic integrity, and that's why when a lot of people, when they're getting to know my brand, they call it a blog, and I quickly correct them, because one, the way you let people address your brand is the way that your brand is going to live on, right? So I'm always going to correct you because my company is not a blog.
It's a news
And
outlet or a media outlet. Yeah.
exactly. So, and that space is very hard, especially in the housewife space, to get some type of legitimacy where people take you serious, right? Talent
Mhm.
starts taking you serious. And
Mhm.
you know from booking Bravo talent that when you try to book any other talent, you have to go through Bravo first.
Yep.
And there's so many trolls and so many new podcasts in the housewives world popping up that they have to filter, is
Mhm.
this really something that we want to throw our talent at, or is this just something that people are trying to use to bring our talent for clout so that they can,
Yep.
so I understand why Bravo is very strict with
Mhm.
how they let their talent do interviews and stuff like that.
And they are strict, honey. As an executive producer who had to book those ladies, strict.
Strict, so Candace Diller Bassett was our first housewife that was on full time on her show to give us an interview to the reality rundown. And that was big for me because that interview legitimized me, took us to so many eyes that didn't know us before. And the brand has grown so much. And then last season, I was blessed enough to be able to host a live show in DC. And I was able to book Mia, Jassy, and Jacqueline from Potomac, and I did this entire live show. We watched the last part of the reunion live, and then we did a panel afterwards, and it was amazing, sold out. Shout out to the castmates that came out and supported. I was like, people were telling me they drove from crazy far just to come, and to me that's crazy, So shout out to them. And Candace showed up. I didn't tell. She wasn't booked. I
Yeah.
didn't even tell her about it. She knew the reality rundown was in DC. She got up, she put on her makeup, she put on her good wig, and she came down and supported me and
Yes.
came on stage and gave me my flowers and told me how much she was, how proud she was of me, and how proud she was to see the reality rundown like do so much. So that will never go unnoticed in my eyes. So shout out to
Mhm.
Candace Diller Bassett. She's great.
100%. Can I tell you my story of why Candace is one
Yeah.
of my faves? Candace is so for the people, and I feel like people
Hmm.
need to know that. That's why when people bash her and they talk shit about her, I'm like, if y'all only knew, this is one of the few celebrities who really are about like the people. Like she's about the fans. She's so appreciative of the way people support her. Her manager, we're from the same hometown. We share some really close like mutual friends. When we had her on Reality with the King, way back in the day, I ended up reconnecting with her manager. And so Candace was doing a show in the city that I was lived in. He was like, come down to the show, come backstage, come chill, whatever. I bought a
Hmm.
ticket though, right? Because I'm like, I don't believe in any free lunch. So I bought a
Yeah,
ticket
yeah,
to
yeah,
her
yeah.
show to support her. And he was like, yeah, come backstage. So I'm backstage. I walk in. She's like, you look so beautiful. She's getting her hair done and stuff. So complimentary, so nice. We chop it up. She does her show. If you've been to her show, you know she does an amazing show.
Yeah.
But then after that, I had this holiday movie idea and I was like, I'm working on the script. I was like, Candace would be perfect for this. I reached out to her manager. I'm like, do you think Candace would be interested? And he was like, yeah. So her and I ended up talking on the phone about it. She's like, absolutely. I want to support up and coming people who look like me. I go to DC to meet with her and talk to her about the script. I'm going to DC. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to take you to lunch. We'll talk about the script, whatever.
Yeah.
We finish our lunch. I pull out my car. She's like, no, I'm paying. Like you came all the way to DC to see me, so I'm gonna pay for your lunch. And I'm like, you don't have to do that. She insisted. She did it so nice. And then a couple weeks later, sends me an invite for her birthday party at her house. So then I go to her birthday party at her beautiful home. Chris was there. She was so welcoming with open arms to me. I'm with you, Candace
she's
Diller
she's
Bassett.
truly she's truly a great person. And I
Mhm.
also say that, I also tell her this too, that the show doesn't portray her the way she is in real life,
Agreed.
but what I love about it is that that doesn't bother her because she knows who she plays on that show.
Yes.
She
Yes.
understands her position on that show, and she's fine with giving what she gives. And I love a housewife that's self-aware. And Candace, like I said, I love Candace.
Shout out to you, Candace. A real one. So
A real
speaking of
one.
Potomac, okay, we are here to recap Real Housewives of Potomac, season
Hmm.
10, episode 8. The title of the episode is Pride and Pettiness. And I love it because I was like, my mind. My recap that I did last week, I called it Pride and BravoCon. I was like, everybody's doing like the Pride and Prejudice play on words.
I'm
I
screaming.
I loved it. So we get into this episode, and the intro scene is just a continuation of Ash TLP's Pride event. And Kay is trying to blast Stacey. Now, I love how Monique paid it. Like,
Paid it. Paid it.
Kay
Mo-
thought she was doing something.
And I also think that it was really Monique not really knowing who Kiarna is, and not, she's like, wait, is she mine? You know what I'm saying? Am I supposed to be like, what is she just walked in?
If Kay tried to get the party started, which, like I said, look, all these girls know what they're there to do.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can appreciate her trying to get the party started. But bravo, production made it so dramatic. And I said this last week. I was like, they did the black screen with the to be continued as if there's gonna be some big blow up. I was like, watch Monique not really have a reaction to it. And she was like, we got divorced 2 years ago. Like, he of course he's dating.
Right.
Now can the ladies let it go?
Can we can we move on?
Can we move on to something else? Because that's what I've been saying. And let me know if you feel the same. The Chris and Monique thing was never a thing. They're both
Yeah.
divorced. Stacey, I'm sorry, Chris and Monique. Stacey and Chris. Stacey was never friends with Monique, so it shouldn't be a big deal if she went on a date with Chris and Monique.
Right. I mean, it's the only thing that's a little crazy is just that how the you and Chris came about, because we know that Stacey kind of came around this town for the show, you know what I'm saying? So in my
Mm.
head I'm just like, how did this come about? But again, she doesn't know Monique. They divorced. who cares? So I don't find it crazy. What I did understand from this scene, and it goes back to what Candace said on her podcast, is that Kiarna is in need of a mentor. And I think that we know Karen to be that girl that rallies everyone and says, what are we going to do here? What is the purpose of this scene? And what are we going to get out of this? And I think that Karen would have probably had a check in with Kiarna before this event. And Kiarna would have probably told her, like, yeah, I'm going to try to clock Stacey. And Karen would have been like, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you should take Monique on a lunch first. Or maybe, Karen
Mm-hmm.
would have helped her bring this bone out without looking desperate. And I think that that's why Candace said that Kiarna is in need of a mentor. And I saw it in this scene.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Karen definitely probably would have given her some better advice. I think it showed a lot of restraint from Ashley when Ashley wanted to bring it up to Monique when she went to her house, but she was like, this is not the time to do that. It was like Kate almost like she couldn't read the room, but she was
Hmm.
trying to like make a scene. And it just, a lot of things fall flat with Kate because she doesn't have the proper awareness that I
Yeah.
think Karen would have given her.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting because I don't think this is what they thought Kate was going to give.
Yeah.
And it's just very interesting to watch the way that Kay and Angel are developing themselves on this show this season specifically.
It is. They lack maturity. I think that's the big thing with both of them is, and I don't want to say maturity because of their age, because they're around the same age as Ashley, and Ashley knows how to handle herself within this
Right.
group. Angel and Kay are just immature in the fact that everything for them is so much more serious than it needs to be with this group. And it's like they don't know when to, okay, this I gotta read you back, or I should just laugh this off. Like they're not seasoned enough to know that.
And that's maturity in the way of being knowing what to do and what to respond on when you're filming a national TV show. Like
Yes.
these ladies are grown, they're mature, but there's a different type of maturity that you need to realize, is this a moment that I can gain from even if I'm taking the L?
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yep. Yep.
And I think that they're on the defense,
Mm-hmm.
so that's really the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem with them. I did see in this scene too. I don't know if you caught it when Stacey was complimenting Ash TLP and she's like, "You with this facial hair?" Ashley was being so weird about it. I'm like, "Girl, you're the same one that last season said you wanted to have a little fun with Stacey. So now it's a problem?"
Right. Ashley's funny though. Like she is just a lot of people don't like Ashley. Like she gets a lot of hate.
Mm-hmm.
But to be completely honest, I don't see there's a lot of things that happen on the show because of Ashley.
Sure.
And I feel
Sure.
like shout out to Carlos King. Ashley is a force multiplier.
Oh, even now you think so?
I believe so. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Who else was gonna tell Stacey one that her breath stink, one that she's being fake, and one that she's a liar, and not letting up?
Okay, if you put it like that, I guess so. I haven't been seeing Ashley as a force multiplier this season because it feels like she's really just there
Mm.
to do that. Now, where I can agree with you on that is like in past seasons, yes, because I've always said, now I'm someone who has historically not been a fan of Ashley Darby. I don't dislike her enough to send her hate. I'm just like, she just seems really mean spirited in some of the
Mm.
things that she does. But I have always, 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 always recognized her as a very necessary evil for this show. Even in the times when I'm like, oh, I want Ashley to go, I'll change. I actually think I said that on one of Carlos's episodes. Ashley needs to go. And then by the end of the episode, I'm like, you know what? No, Ashley can stay.
No, because the thing is that I think they criticize her a lot because of personal story, because she
Mm,
lacks personal
yes,
story,
yes,
and
she
maybe
does.
her personal story is always the same season per season per season.
Mhm.
But listen, this is Ashley's first season where she's like fully divorced, fully,
Yeah.
done. I believe that she has force multiplied this season. And I think that in the reunions is also another example where Ashley, if she knows she's had a easy season or maybe a season where she maybe hasn't been in the fray too much, she
Mhm.
turns it up at the reunion. I think that Ashley's very aware. I think she's great for the show in the sense of she knows what's going on, and even if it's gonna make her look bad, or even if like she's not scared to go into battle
Mm.
with anybody.
Come
Who
on,
has
Ashley Darby representative.
not that? Hold on there. Hold on there.
Come on, you sound like you are her attorney giving the closing
No, but
arguments, and I'm
I
like,
just think that
not
she's
guilty,
I
not
just
guilty.
think that she's unfairly judged sometimes on this show. I do, and
Mhm.
and, and Ashley's an OG, and I think that because she's young, we don't see her as that OG. But if we respect Gizelle and the fact that Gizelle has not given us personal story for seasons after seasons, and all Gizelle gets to do is be messy, then I can respect Ashley for the same thing.
And I can respect that because now you have me thinking like, should I be looking at Ashley a little more favorably? I
Because take Ashley away from this. Take Ashley away from this lineup.
Great, great point. That is an excellent point. That's
We're
an excellent.
depending on who
Yeah.
to create mess.
To get it started, right?
Started to
Yeah.
when they're all sitting down, I'm 1000% sure that producers are depending on Ashley to bring up topics because, and Gizelle too, because no shade, Gizelle is not a punk,
Right.
but they're depending on them too to really have them cojones to bring it up. So
Yeah. And if nothing else, she's always going to give us a good lesbian bisexual storyline.
uh,
Licking on Jesse.
I'm tired of her. I'm tired of her LGBTQ girl. Bring a stud on the show. I'm over it. I'm
You
over
don't
it.
you
If you're
don't
really
like how
about it, bring a stud on the show.
but she's a bisexual queen. You don't think she displays that well?
I no, I do think she displays that well, and I do think that Ashley, shout out to her because she's one of the only housewives that truly supports the LGBTQ community in numerous ways, and not only supports it, she's part of it. But
Outwardly. She's one of the few that are
that
outwardly
are out, and
part of it.
also
Wink.
not only out by just clout, but also out in her lifestyle, in the sense of she always talks about, I could be dating a man, I could be dating a woman. She lives a bisexual lifestyle, meaning she defines herself as bisexual. A lot of bisexual people, their norm is heterosexuality, and I think that there's still fault in there, but
Yeah.
Ashley doesn't move that way. So shout out to her, but I just bring a stud on the show. Let's make it real.
Let's make it real. Listen, you work for Bravo. Help them with the casting.
Ciao. That's another
Another
production
story,
company.
right? So the other thing that happened in this scene that was so funny, Tia eating up Stacey the way she
Girl.
did. Tia, we can't claim Stacey as Nigerian. Stacey paid for a boyfriend. In Nigeria, boyfriends pay for us.
First of all,
Got it.
clock
I
it.
loved it. Yeah. Yeah.
Because we've all seen them Nigerian weddings, baby.
Mhm.
But also Stacey really is taking me out with this Nigerian stuff. Like she
Yes.
is, I am all for the diaspora love, honey. You know, we all come from the same place.
Mm.
But Stacey,
It's a joke at this point, and I think that's the thing with Stacey. I believe she's super in on the joke because every time she says it, she's like, "My sisters, my Nigerian sisters." You're playing with them. You're trolling them at this point.
that's why Stacey is so good,
Yeah,
because again, she understands how this is a win for her, even if it makes her look crazy.
exactly. Even if she has to take the L, like you said, 100%. I agree with that. Angel in this scene, really quickly, she was asking Stacey about a social justice component of Shio. And I was just like, why? It's like Angel just needs to be a part of something in the most negative way. Cause I'm like, sweetie, does your tourism and travel company, do they have a social justice component? What are you doing for underdeveloped, underserved youth?
Right. I think that that was a clear case of, again, being in the defense and then now feeling like your castmates are a threat to you.
Hmm.
And we already know that she feels a certain type of way about these women.
Yeah.
The times that she's speaking to her husband about it, she's telling her husband that she does not feel comfortable around these women, and that they're lacking, connection,
Hmm.
and that she's not getting through. So I find it interesting that when people feel that way about a certain group, they further do things that make it harder to connect.
Yeah.
Because if I feel like I'm the odd person out, why would I make a negative comment that's going to somehow make you look crazy? If anything, I'm gonna say, "Oh my God, Stacey, congratulations! I think it's so great that you're a black woman in business, and fuck all these hoes. You're right." You know what I'm saying? But
Right. But
like she's too far. It's affecting her mentally at this point,
mhm.
and that's why I do give her a little bit of grace, because I see that mental battle in her when she's in scene.
That's an interesting perspective. I think for me, her saying that to Stacey, she was trying to kind of poke Stacey again because she knows the other ladies are already coming after her.
Yeah.
Angel wants to get in well with, we know for sure, Gizelle. So I feel like she took that as an opportunity to kind of like jab Stacey again because she thought it might put her in favor a little more with the ladies. But I think to your point, she's struggling a lot with this group. And I think it's made even worse because the audience is not connecting with Angel at all. Like
at all.
I very rarely see positive things
And
said
you know
about
why?
Angel. Why? Because she's trying too
I
hard.
I believe is because instead of standing on her truths at that table at Kiana's house when Wendy clocked her, she
Mm-hmm.
flipped.
Mm-hmm.
And the audience would have respected her and fucked with her if she would have said, you know what, Wendy? Yeah, Kiana, I didn't fuck with what you said. And
Right.
I did tell them, and I'm sorry that it came out that way. I'm new to this group and I'm still trying to like, how to go about it. But that those were my feelings, and I think my feelings are valid. So you either want to talk about it with me or is this gonna turn messy, you know? If she would have said that, the audience would have respected her and
Mm-hmm.
would have fucked with her. But instead, she flipped, started coming at Wendy instead. Now the audience doesn't like you because they don't like Kiana. Now the audience feels like you're just like her. So
Yeah.
it's a wrap for you.
And you came off scared of Kiana. Like that, you know what I'm saying? Just putting it plainly, you came off scared of Kiana. The audience, myself included, like the drama, right? They like somebody that's gonna stand 10 toes down and
And
be
I
like,
think she
yeah, like
has
you
it,
just said. Mm-hmm.
you know?
She certainly has it in her confessionals. She's a confessional warrior. She has
You
a lot of
know?
smoke in the confessionals, but it's because she's a late processor. I think Gizelle even brought this up. She processes stuff really late, and everybody can't be quick on their feet. So that part I can give her a little bit of grace there. Like when you're in the moment, it's coming at you fast. You see
Especially
all
as a
these
newbie.
cameras. Yeah, exactly. You're new. There's so many cameras around. Like you're processing everything, and then it could be like a day later, and it's wait a minute, that bitch said what?
Yeah.
Now I know what I can say because I'm able to like think about it and process it. So
Hmm.
that's Angel's issue. But before we finish off this scene, the last funny thing, Wendy asking if GNA was a tax front. And I'm like, Wendy, that's rich coming from you knowing what you are going through. And you were already in the scam when you said that. Pam Oliver. Why did you say that? Pam Oliver.
Eddie Hennessy.
Eddie.
Uh,
That listen.
prayers.
Prayers,
Prayers.
thoughts and
Pray.
prayers.
Prayers for the Yosefos. That's all I can say.
Yes, I'm with you on that one.
I want to add though, I did catch a little snippet of Giselle's and Robin's podcast right before I came on here. Shout out to Giselle and Robin. Reasonably Shady is great. A lot of people doubted them, and the podcast is doing amazing and it's
Yeah.
making hella money and is
Mhm.
one of the top podcasts on the Black Effect Network. So shout out to them. They were talking about it and they were saying how it's very brave for Wendy to show up to BravoCon and to
Yes.
have the attitude that she has, right? And I was thinking, I'm like, you know what? That is a good point. And then Robin said that if she was in her shoes, maybe the reason why she's doing this is because she feels that if she still shows up to all of these things, is going to translate as I'm not worried because I didn't do anything. So that's why I still need to do what I need to do because I know that I'm going to beat this because I didn't do anything.
Mhm.
Whereas Giselle felt like no, I feel like when you're battling something like this, the best thing you could do legally is to stay low and minimize all your interactions, minimize the things that you say to the press and stuff like that. So the fact that she's out here living, her life lavishly to that point, still,
Mhm.
it's kind of like it could be concerning. And she also pointed out the fact that that didn't work for Karen because Karen denied all of the allegations and then she was found guilty.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bounce that back to you and your listeners. Is it a good idea for Wendy to be out here? Is it guilt or is it the fact that she actually believes that she's innocent?
It's pride. 100% pride. That's all. Wendy is a proud woman. We've seen that.
Or degree?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's 100% her pride, her ego would not allow her to look like this case
Mm-hmm.
has gotten the best of her. And so whether or not this is good for her case or not, I'm not a lawyer, so I couldn't tell you about that. I know the optics, like Giselle said, you're out and you're in designer wares and fashions. You know what I'm saying? You have your jewelry on. You're fighting an insurance fraud case for jewelry and designer wares. Like I don't think I would do it to that degree,
Mm-mm.
but Wendy is a prideful person, and so it's not shocking to me that she showed up to BravoCon. It's not shocking to me that she's going to be at the reunion. You know what
Right.
I mean? I'm not surprised by it, but it's
I'm actually
100%
glad.
pride.
because I'm tired of people running every time something happens. So I'm actually glad that she's still doing it, because no shade, it makes it even more interesting. Let's see where we end up.
As the
I am
viewers, we want to see it.
I am so happy that she's being open, because I'm just like, girl, be open.
Yeah,
Because at the end of the day, there's gonna be a date that this all comes to an end, and
100%.
let's see what happens.
Yeah, we shall see because I'm sure we'll be finding out more information pretty soon. So we bump over to the next scene and they go to lunch after Pride. Monique seems so light and open at this lunch. Like I loved how
Mhm.
her and Gizelle started out with just being open to rebuilding with one another. What do you think about their dynamic this season?
I am so glad that they're not on that same energy from
Yeah,
season 5. This is legitimately season 10,
yeah.
5 seasons after that situation. And I'm glad that, because we've moved on. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Yeah,
So I'm glad that they're like, let's not even, again, Giselle. Giselle is a great OG in my opinion, and she's a
yeah.
great reality star. And she knows that the fans really don't give a fuck about this no more.
I will say though, Monique, her confessional, sickening with the hair
Face,
and the oh
baby, that bone structure.
everything, the bone structure. I mean, the skin. It's like I was like, does she have butter or oil or something on her skin?
And also, shout out to Monique to for one, wearing her natural hair, and
Hmm.
two, choosing to be one of the only housewives that legitimately wears like Afrocentric hair. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Because I'm good with, don't get me wrong, all the wigs look good,
Hmm.
and that's
Well,
part of the
some of them,
culture.
not all of them.
True, true, true. But that's part of the culture. But I want the girls to feel more inclined to wear more Afrocentric hair too, because those are beautiful too.
Yeah.
It's not just when you go on vacation.
Exactly. No, it fits her so well. That is a beautiful, beautiful woman. They started talking about her relationship with Chris, and she said that her and Chris had a good image, and almost admitting that they were really good at keeping up a facade. I want to ask you, remember when Chris's mom was on the show and she famously called Monique a heifer and like she does not like Monique? Do you think Chris's mom didn't like Monique because she knew that Chris wasn't really all the way into her?
Well, I'm gonna give you a little exclusive. I am friends with someone that is part of Monique's family.
Okay.
We went to college together. So as I come into this Bravo world, me and my friend have talked about Monique and that whole situation. And yeah, they didn't like her. That was always a point of tension.
Did they say why
Um,
exactly they didn't like her?
I don't remember, so I don't want to,
Speculate.
speculate
Mhm.
of what I was told, but I just remember the conversation being that there's just always been like tension between her and his family,
The whole
and
family.
her and his family. I don't know if that means 5 people, 10 people, or 12, but her and his family, and that her background had a lot to do with it, in the sense of, Monique is from Jersey, child.
Yep, yep,
You
she's from
know,
Jersey. She doesn't come from any affluent family or anything. Yeah.
So, and I think we all know what happens when families like Chris's families get to a certain status. You
Mm.
know, it's
They
a
thought he was too good for her, like, she was not on his level.
that was always the thing with them, and I think that played into their relationship, and
Yep.
why there was always that dynamic of, we're supposed to be a team, but there's something that is like putting us against each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's why she says we were perfect at putting up with the optics, because they legitimately had to put those optics up for everybody,
Yeah.
not just the cameras,
Mhm.
everybody.
Mhm. They did, and did you watch Love and Marriage DC
Girl,
on season 1? Do you remember that scene where Chris and Monique are talking and oh, I forget exactly what it's about, but she starts crying in the scene, and I remember talking to Carlos about it, and I was like, "This underscores the issue that I think that Monique has with Chris. She does not feel like she's good enough." Like, the scene really spelled that out for me, and I was like, "Oh, I think this is why they have such a big issue because I think Monique is trying to prove her place
yeah.
within his world, and I feel like she doesn't feel like she's meeting that standard. I need to ask him, or maybe I don't know if we said it on an actual episode or if we were talking. I don't know, but I remember saying it because I
No,
felt
but
as
I
though
remember
hearing
I
that makes sense.
remember the scene that you're specifically talking about, and I think that Monique's facade on RHOP led her to a bad performance on Love and Marriage DC,
100%.
because she was living a lie on Potomac, then came on Love and Marriage DC trying to show people what her real marriage actually looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But because people felt so disconnected from this marriage to the one we saw in Potomac, it felt like she was low-key trying to come for Chris
Yes.
and get out of her marriage, when in reality she was just lifting the curtains, you know?
Lifting the veil. Yes.
So now she's back on Potomac, and she wants to make sure that everybody knows that this is a problem from the beginning.
Yes. Thank you. You and I see each other. I literally said on last week's recap that her showing on Love and Marriage DC, that was when I was like, oh, they are not gonna last. So
Yeah,
when it came out that they got a divorce, I was not shocked based on what I saw on Love and Marriage DC. Had I only
exactly.
watched her on Potomac, I would have been shocked. But after Love and Marriage DC, I was like, oh, that's not her. They're not gonna be together.
Exactly. And I don't think that she was trying to bash Chris on Love and
Hmm.
Marriage. A lot of people say, oh, Monique brought Chris on that show just to bash him and make him look bad. That I'm sorry, but did y'all see how Monique defended Chris at that reunion
Yeah.
against Gizelle?
Yeah. Yeah.
Such a great performance that got her
Hmm.
a full-time job and an offer Ultimate Girls Trip, which she both turned down. So let's not make it seem like she didn't lose anything because of Chris.
Right.
She could have gotten paid
Hmm.
twice and
Hmm.
really good.
Yeah.
So her coming on Love and Marriage DC was not to talk shit about Chris and make him look bad. It was just that she was tired of the fact that she was putting on this facade knowing that her marriage was trash.
Yep.
So she's fuck it. I'm being offered this show. Let me show what my real marriage actually looks like, because I don't see it lasting.
Yeah.
And I don't want people to be like later, where did this come from? Da, 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 because she already knows people don't fucking like her because she
Mhm.
put her hands on Candace.
Mhm.
So it's all of that, and people gotta be aware of that and give grace.
100% they do. And this is a new chapter for her. It's a new
I agree.
lease on life, really. I mean, she even said the ladies added years to her marriage because instead of her arguing with Chris, she just argued with them. But what really, I mean, I feel like people are going to put this quote on t-shirts when she said the next morning after her and Chris did the do, the next morning she wakes up, she goes, "You will never enter me again."
You will
Everybody text that to your
never.
ex right now. Pick up your phone, text your ex. You will never enter me again. But only if you're telling the truth. Because if you lying,
Right,
then don't call
right,
the scene for
right.
nothing. But
You will
I love it.
never
It was
enter me
so
again.
dramatic. It was
Between
so
that and I feel 300 pounds, I'm just like, okay, Monique, you get one more. You get to whack Chris one more time and then wrap it up.
yeah, because we don't want to hear you bashing him all season, but
Right.
she's pacing him out real well. So I
Mm-hmm.
live for that. That was a really, really good quote. So we move on to the next scene, and it's this house hunting scene with Bobby and Angel. A very quick scene, but I'm gonna tell you, for all the crap that I give Angel, I actually really enjoyed the scene of them just walking through the house and looking at a house. That's kind of like what I would like to see from more housewives, right? It's like
Yeah.
them just living this lifestyle, you know what I mean? This aspirational lifestyle. She's looking at this beautiful home. I think the price said like 3.2 million. I
Yeah.
want to see more scenes like that. But then she starts being weird again and talking to Bobby, who like Bobby sitting in that chair when he tries to cross his leg. I was like, you too thick for that, Bobby.
Girl, it's a lot going on
There's
all
a
in between
lot
them legs for you to try to cross them. Keep
for
them
you to be
open. We're fine.
right, exactly, because you looked so uncomfortable. But she was being weird and like she's so hell bent on Wendy saying that she was a catfish. I'm like, production keeps showing us time and time again. Gizelle said the word catfish. Wendy never said that word. Why is she so bothered?
You want me to say how I feel?
Please
Because y'all already know the problem in this show, right?
tell. Inquiring minds want to know.
Mm, Wendy is dark.
You said the thing.
And I think that I hate to be the woke friend and shit, but I think that because the fact that she's dark skinned and her attitude and her mood is very dry,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Wendy's very straightforward. Wendy only really cackles when she's in a cackling mood, but aside from that, she's very like dry, very listening and very, proper. So that mixed with the fact that she's dark skinned, I think these women sometimes are so prone to think that Wendy's the one that's attacking them or Wendy's the one that's like doing wrong, and it's subconscious, you know? Of course, Angel's gonna say that it's not that, because I don't think that Angel's a colorist. I'm just
Mhm.
saying that there's certain things that we in the Black community do and take in as lighter skinned people, and we have to be aware of those certain things and just call it out. Because why are you so prone to the fact that Wendy said this when Wendy did not say this, and Gizelle was the one that brought it up, and you're just mad because Wendy laughed?
That's it. Wendy laughed at her. That's the
You're
thing.
mad
And
because Wendy laughed. That hurt.
yes,
The cackling between Wendy and Stacey hurt you more than what Gizelle was bringing up.
yes. And you bringing up the colorism thing, I want to say this. I rarely, if ever, bring up things like colorism, whatever. I feel like if everything is colorism, nothing is colorism. So I'm
Yeah.
very, very particular with
Mm-hmm.
how I call that out because I like to reserve colorism, racism, sexism. I like to reserve that for instances where I genuinely feel like that is the only reason that this is happening, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
And I
never
agree
really,
with that. And I
yeah,
agree
thank
with
you.
that.
I never really talk about it, but I want to say this on the record with Angel. At this point, I feel like that is the only explanation for her disdain towards Wendy. Now, the reason I didn't jump to this at first is because Kiana isn't light skinned. And
Exactly.
that's her friend. So
Which
I'm
is
like,
why I said I don't think that she's a
right.
deliberate colorist. You know what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
think that this was just a blind spot. You know, she's mad at Wendy for something Wendy didn't do, and it's because to her Wendy translates as an aggressor and as a bitter
Ooh.
person. And why does she translate that way to her?
'Cause she's anything but that. She's
You
literally
know,
so this is Wendy's
is Wendy
lightest,
condescending a little bit? Sure, but
right.
aggressive?
But this is her lightest season yet. I would say she was
Exactly.
more, if we're gonna call her aggressive at all, right? If we're gonna label her that
Which
at
is
all, her first season would probably fall a little bit more under that label. And I'm not even saying that's what we could call it, but if we're gonna ever call her that, that would have been the time to actually say it, right?
I agree.
This season is Wendy's lightest season yet.
Hmm.
And Angel, you just have such a hard on for her. And yeah, at this point, I gotta say, it has to be
It's a blind
something else.
spot. It's
Yep.
definitely a blind
Yep.
spot. But
Ooh, yeah.
again, Angel, if you're listening to this, I don't think that you're a colorist, and that's not what
Sure.
we're saying.
Right,
But you
exactly.
know, you're college educated, and I think that it's fine to point out those things. And
Yes,
if you're smart and you're grown and you're mature, you would understand what we're trying to say, and you would correct that behavior. That's all I have to say
exactly.
on that.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with that. So yeah, we move on from that and we go to Gizelle, Ashley, Tia, and Kay at lunch. Now, I want to say Giselle's outfit was so cute in this scene when she had that
Hmm.
brown cardigan with the shorts. We give her a lot of fever for
She's
the
been looking cute
fashion.
lately.
Might have a new style. Does she have a stylist?
I don't know, but she's been looking cute lately, and shout out to that.
So Kay brings up Chris calling Cookie to complain about Monique. I'm gonna tell you something. I was not feeling Cookie from her first scene.
Very interesting. Ah, Cookie.
I wasn't feeling her because she gives try hard energy, and like
Mhm.
I just knew, I was like, this lady is here to cause friction. She's here to cause trouble. Which, I mean, look, you're on a reality show, sure, that's probably your ticket, but I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it from jump. So knowing that she called Kay to tell her about Chris calling her, but my question was, why was Chris calling you? What y'all got going on, Cookie?
One of the things I love about Potomac is that some of these people are actually very connected. Like
That's true.
Gizelle, Karen, Charisse,
Yes, Sharita.
you know, Cookie. Those people, they're very known. Cookie, look through her following list. Everybody knows her. Everybody
Oh,
knows her.
okay.
So it's just very interesting to me. But what I will say is that I am very surprised that Cookie, being someone that is friends with Karen and kind of is serving as Karen's representative this season, why would she come on this way on the show? I find it very alarming. I think that you're doing a disservice to your friendship with Karen, because instead of you representing her in a very honorable way, you're choosing to take the time that you have on camera to be messy and
Mhm,
be hostile.
mhm.
And I think that I'm disappointed, Cookie, because you could have done better.
Yeah, so I saw on Twitter somebody say that since it came out that Cookie doesn't like Stacey, someone said, so that means that Karen doesn't like Stacey and she sent Cookie in to do her bidding. What do you think about that?
I don't do that mess.
Okay.
I don't do.
I don't start rumors.
Yeah, like I don't do that mess.
Yeah.
But people are so messy. That's not even how Karen would move herself,
And I don't
you
think she would
know?
send Cookie to do it,
And I
right?
don't think she will send Cookie, who's serving as her representative this
Right.
season, to do something so messy and
Mhm.
to low-key incite violence.
I think who we know the Grand Dame to be, I think her dislike for Stacey, it wouldn't come out in this way. Like it wouldn't manifest itself in this way. She
Yeah.
would wait until she got on the show and then she would let it happen. And she wouldn't be so overt with it either. Like it's very clear that Cookie doesn't like Stacey.
Now,
I don't think the Grand Dame would have done it like that.
Cookie bringing up the Stacey shit up at to Gizelle and stuff about Chris,
Mhm.
definitely.
Sure.
I
Sure.
could definitely see Karen. We'll say that on camera.
Yeah.
You know, but Karen telling,
That was a perfect
you know what I'm saying?
you did that perfectly.
But Karen telling Cookie to go.
I'm with you. I don't think Karen needs anybody to do her bidding, but we'll see because we talk about some later on in the episode where some real aggression happens. But
Right.
before we get to that, Monique and Wendy go to lunch, and I was writing these notes, and I was like, these ladies go to lunch a lot. Like this episode, there were so many lunches, so many people eating. Love to see
I
these
like
ladies
it
are
though.
nourished. Yeah, for sure.
I do like it. I think that Potomac has been doing some great production. I am very close with some people on the
Mhm.
production team on Potomac, and shout out to those. I'm not saying their names because some people don't like
Yeah,
to be out there, but shout out to them because they've done amazing work this season, and I think that they're producing a great show. I do want to see more scenes that are more one-on-one between this
hmm
cast because I think that that's how you format a great reality TV ensemble episode. You give us family scenes, you give us scenes with the cast together in different situations, two and threes, and then you end with a big all scene group. I
yeah.
think it's great.
Yeah, I love that. So Wendy and Monique meet for lunch and they start initially talking about the last time they saw each other and how crazy it was. I
Yeah.
want to ask you, do you think that there is a world in which Candace and Monique can ever share a screen and film together again?
I think there is a world, and the reality rundown was at the last virtual reality T awards,
hmm
and we actually was able to exclusively ask Candace, now that Monique was returning to the show, if she will ever come back. And Candace said there's nothing that will ever keep her of that show. And she also said that, I asked her very candidly, is this a Phaedra Candy situation or can you come back and still coexist? And she said she's
Mm,
down. So I do think that they could do it. And I think that Candace should watch how Monique is going about her friendship this season. So if there is ever a future where we see both of them, let's not bring that old stuff back. We're definitely going to talk about it because it has
yeah.
to get touched. But
hmm hmm
let's not bring that old aggression because that's it. We're over it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think what I know of Candace, right? I don't know her super, super well, but what I've seen and known of her, she seems like a very open and forgiving person. And then, like I said, Monique is so light and open this season that she certainly seems like she has changed for the better and that she would also be open to possibly even apologizing, honestly.
I
Because
mean, she's taking a
yeah,
lot of accountability that I'm
she
very
is.
surprised she is.
She is.
She's owning all of her wrongs while still standing on the reasons why she felt the way she felt.
Yeah.
So I think it's great.
Yeah, for sure. Was Monique right to warn Wendy about Stacey? Like when she told her to step back and really look at Stacey for who she is. Do you think that was right for her to do?
I mean, I think so because it's just like, girl, do you not see why Stacey is pursuing you so much this season? She feels
Mm,
like she's on an island, and the only person. It's very interesting because a lot of people say that the reason why Stacey is doing this with Wendy is because that whole Shayo storyline and whatever, and that it's working for her. But I also think that she could have easily done that with Tia. You know what I'm
right.
saying? But seeing the fact that there's all that, I'm just surprised that Eddie was the one that brought out the TJ stuff at the reunion.
Mhm.
They also pointed out the fact that she was going to do this thing that was basically getting into the same business as Eddie. And that Wendy, after all of that, Wendy's still willing to be so friendly with her.
Right.
I'm not questioning why Stacey's trying to be friends with Wendy. I'm questioning why Wendy's so open. Think about Wendy's different this season.
She's very light, but I think also with the cannabis line, that doesn't scream anything nefarious to me on its surface. It's if the cannabis industry is a booming industry and you want to
Oh yeah,
open
I
up
don't
a
even
cannabis line,
I
right?
don't
It's like
believe in that. Like
I
we
wanna
all
be
have a
open.
podcast. We could all have,
Exactly.
like
Exactly. Literally, us talking with, to people in media who have podcasts and stuff like that. Yeah, everybody is able to get in on this. I don't find Wendy's openness to Stacey weird in any way because Wendy just seems open to like she's friends with Gizelle this season. After Gizelle, that one season when they were at Candace's party, Gizelle Gizelle wouldn't even hug her, and she's
Shout out.
friends with her.
Shout out to my girl Denasia. That was and Denasia doesn't mind, but shout out to Denasia because she's Wendy and Giselle's producer, and
Yeah.
I had to congratulate her and say I texted her. I said, "Girl,
Yeah, shout out to you,
if I could
girl.
give you an Emmy, I will give it to you because the work that you've put in between Wendy and Giselle
Yeah.
shows."
Mhm.
That scene when Wendy's like, Giselle, I actually consider you a friend. And Giselle looks back and says, Me too.
Yeah.
They've came a long
Mhm.
way.
Mhm.
And shout out to good producing for sure.
Yeah. That's amazing. So then we go to Stacey at the pool with Timo and her daughter. And Timo, he seemed so disinterested in this entire scene. I was like, get this man off the screen. He's being tortured right now.
But I also don't I had an episode of my podcast that came out today where I was talking about Todd complaining about being on the screen with Bronwyn. And my whole thing is if you don't want to film, then don't film.
Yeah.
Stacey came single to the show.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not make it seem like production is pressuring her to film with Temu. That's his name? Timu.
No, Timo. Timo.
Timo.
We call him Timu.
Timo. Production. I don't think production really is forcing her to. Oh, you need to like because you came on single to the show. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? If anything, you're bringing Timo onto this and making it your storyline this season. So now the question is, why is Stacey forcing Timo to film? Because Timo doesn't seem interested, but at the same time, you didn't film the first season. Why are you around if you don't want? I don't get it with the husbands acting like they don't want to be around, but then still come around. Like,
Because here's my theory is that the men that come on here and act like they don't want to be filmed, they secretly want to. They secretly like the attention. I feel like with Timo, it was like he was acting so disinterested, but I'm like, to your point, you didn't have to do this.
I think it's. I actually find it weird.
So Tia is there with Stacey and Timo, and she's also trying to dig to get some of this tea about Chris. But this was about the time in my notes where I was just like, please, can we dead this storyline? Like we should have deaded it last episode,
Mhm.
but like, let's end it now because it's just like, why Tia? You're not invested at all in any of this. So were you trying to dig for more so you can take it back to the lady?
I think that I understand her a little bit in the
Okay.
sense of Stacy's pattern and stay in the way that Stacey recollects things are so different, and I think
Mhm.
production shows that because
Yeah.
is he flying out? Is he not flying out? Is he leaving? Is he not leaving? He's gonna be here next week. He's not gonna be here next week, girl. If you low-key don't want your husband to get close to these ladies, or you don't want these ladies to get close to your husband, then just say it because you're bringing in Tia as someone that you respect enough to bring around the father of your daughter, and you said that she's the only person in this group that you feel comfortable enough, but then you're also being secretive and have a fence up with her.
Right.
You need to pick a side.
Yeah, that's gonna be Stacey's downfall. Like I can see that now. Like the audience were living for her. She's funny. We know she has an interesting relationship with the truth, but it's quirky right now. Because like I said, right now their white lies are kind of
I
harmless.
don't think so.
Even you don't think people are gonna tire of
No,
that?
I think that
But they tired of it with Mia.
no. But the thing is, Mia wasn't funny. Mia,
That's
what you
that's
look at
true.
Mary Cosby.
That's true.
Mary Cosby said that she does not go into 7-Elevens where there's black and Mexican people standing at the front on camera. Do we bring that up? Because she's what? Iconic,
Yeah.
you know?
Mm.
So I think
Mm.
that Stacey is going down that road. One thing I like about Stacey is that she knows her stance with this audience.
Yeah.
You know? That comes from her QVC experience because QVC is very audience based.
100%.
You know?
And they always lie. They tell
And,
you that those sweaters are gorgeous when they're ugly as hell.
she knows how to talk to people. She knows how to convey to people. So she understands that. And I think that she will continue to bend the truth and she will continue to be silly and messy as long as she's being funny and as long as she's, making the audience laugh. I think I saw that during her BravoCon panels. I saw that
Mhm.
during her Watch What Happens Live shows, BravoCon. And I think she's understanding it. So I don't think the audience will ever flip on Stacey. Because what was proven this season that Stacey brought a man on the show last season just for show, and that she actually is launching a can. And did we care? So I don't think that the audience is gonna flip on Stacey, and I wonder how that's going to affect Gizelle. And I also
Oh,
wonder how that's going to affect Karen when she comes on to the Stacey show next season.
Karen, Ashley, and Gizelle next season for them, it's like it's either going to be like if we can't beat her, join her, and then we're going to see everybody be friends with Stacey, and then it's going to be somebody else that they're taking down, or they're going to double down, and then it's going to get real dark.
Thank you. They're going to double down, and you don't want to double down with the fan favorite. No shade,
Yeah.
especially when the fan favorite has the skill that Stacey has.
Yes.
You need to know when the limit is the limit and when to pull back.
Because I think the thing with Stacey and why they will never be successful, like a major takedown of her, is she never lets anything that they say or do affect her too
Affect her.
badly. It's just, oh, whatever, move on. Move on to the next thing.
You
I know
know?
we're not into the next scene where y'all are trying yet again.
And her
I'm just
comebacks,
gonna
she
keep
eats you up.
rising. Yeah, she just wants
I
to
wouldn't trust you
rise.
from my husband. You don't have
You don't have
one.
a husband.
I need
Or a
Stacey
group
on
husband.
Ultimate Girls Trip with the cast of Roa because Stacey
Oh,
can read.
right,
And I would love
right.
to see Stacey and Kenya Moore go at it.
I don't think that would be that good.
Mm,
Because only because I think Stacey and Portia, that would be good because they're
that would
both
be good
really
too.
funny. They're both
Hmm.
super funny. I feel like Kenya would get dark fat. Kenya would just really try to go there. It's the same. I would never want to see her with Marlo. Like I feel like Marlo would go. Well, Marlo's not a reader. That's why she goes that low.
Yeah.
But yeah, her, Stacey and Portia, I think
Or
that
even
would be a
Stacey
good
and
matchup.
Nene.
That, that would give us almost Nene and Claudia in Puerto Rico. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? Just like the back to
Yes.
Bali, back
Yes.
and forth. That would be like really
Shout
funny.
out to Claudia Jordan. Justice for
Yeah.
her.
Yeah. But did you hear what Nene said when she gave her dream Atlanta cast? Claudia was one of the ladies that she chose. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, her cast 8 too. I would love to
Her
see that.
cast 8. I said, I'm sorry, but it just gets me mad that no one cares to make great television anymore. You
Bring
know?
back great television.
Let's make it. Doesn't matter whose feelings are involved.
Yeah.
Let's just make great television, you know?
So in the next scene, this is a real quick scene with Gizelle's party planning, and I just wanted to point out in here that her saying that she almost uninvited Stacey. I'm like, Gizelle, you are a goddamn lie. She said all the ladies are mad at Stacey, so I almost uninvited her. Gizelle, you are a producer. You were gonna invite
That's why I
Stacey.
love her though.
The ladies being mad at Stacey is the reason you wanted her to come
Yeah.
more. Stop
But she
stopping.
just wants the audience to think that she has. I love Gizelle. She's so good. She is so good. That lady understands what she's doing.
She really does, and I think that's why she is a favorite because it's very evident to us as viewers. Giselle is a favorite of the network. She's the face of the show, and it's because she does her job so
Wow.
well. So we move on to Wendy and Tia. They're having dinner with the husbands, and funny note when Tia said that she lied, she used to lie about being half Cuban because she thought it was exotic. I have to tell you a story.
Oh my god.
I have to tell you a story about me. So I'm so embarrassed to tell this story, but this brought up that memory. So when I
Mhm.
was in middle school, I want to say maybe 6th or 7th grade, we had to do this project where we talked about our parents and like where our parents were from and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I had lied and said that my dad was half Dominican. And so
Ah! But it's also that's something so common within the black community, no shade, and it's also due to systematic racism and shit. But like I remember like in high school saying, "Oh, my mom is. I think she has some Indian in her because my mom has really long hair."
yeah, yeah.
Us. We always be like, "Oh yeah, we got some West Indian." So I think it was
I
funny
was
that she
I
said
was
that to me.
crying at that because I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, I lied on a school project, mind you. And my father used to pick us up from school every single day. So somebody
Um,
could have easily just asked him. Like
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
lied and said my dad was half Dominican, and I said that he was from Brooklyn, New York. My daddy is a black American man from Columbus, Mississippi. My dad's never even been to New York. I lied about that, but it was because my dad had really long hair, and that was like a thing that people knew my dad from or knew of him is like he had really long hair and like
Hmm.
he will walk, his hair will move and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, my dad he's half Dominican. So I'm like kind of Dominican, like our
Right.
family from New York, girl. Very much a lie. But yeah, when Tia said that, it made me think of my own little lies that I used to
Yeah.
tell about
I
my
found it funny, but there's a dark humor into it, but it's
yeah,
just so funny.
it is. Because her saying that it sounded exotic. I'm like, oh, let's unpack that at a later time.
Yeah. There's something very anti-black there
Ah,
to unpack, you know?
100%. And
Um
not for nothing, probably with my saying my dad was half
no,
Dominican.
yeah,
It probably, you know what I mean?
with all of our takes,
Mhm.
like something I mean, there's so many anti-black takes that we can,
Listen,
you know.
Wendy and Eddie's backstory was so cute to hear. Like I said earlier in the episode, I feel like this is Wendy's best season yet. She
So
is
crazy.
so likable,
It's
and I
poetic
hate
actually.
right. I literally was about to make that connection. This is her best season, and we're coming up against the biggest scandal from her that we've seen, and she could face jail time, and she's having her best season. What?
And it's and also gives best season for her family as well.
So Tia then reveals that Stacey told her about meeting Timo. Wendy calls Stacey. Stacey gets caught in another lie. And it's, what we talked about. Stacey tells lies. There's these little white lies, but I could see as the friend group how that is getting so annoying now. Cause it's
Yeah.
like, why lie? If you're gonna lie about him being out of town, just say he doesn't want to come. Just say he doesn't want to come. How hard is that?
You don't have to lie about him being out of town.
Right,
You
right. Nobody
don't.
cares.
You
No one will
don't. And
care.
that's what's making you look bad
Yeah.
because you're choosing to lie.
Get it together, Stacey. So we move on to Giselle's party, the last scene of the show. Angel starts the party by going up to Giselle and telling her how much she wants to get to know her. I'm like, oh, again, like you said earlier, you are so willing to bury the hatchet with Giselle and you want to get to know her and you thought she was going to be like a big sister to you and all this stuff. But Wendy just laughed at something that Giselle said and she's public enemy number one. Angel, you're weird, sweetie. You're weird.
So I asked the audience, what's the reason? Let me know in the comments below. What's the reason? This
Yeah.
is not rhetorical. This is not being.
Yeah.
I want you to let me know what you actually think is the reason as to why Angel behaves the way she behaves with Wendy
Yep.
versus the way that she behaves with her actual aggressor,
Yeah.
Giselle. I don't know what's in her mind, but again, I want the fans to let us know what they think is the reason why she behaves that way.
Tell us, do you think it's a coincidence in Nini's voice? I asked you.
Is it? I asked
Is it?
you.
Then we get a Bravo crossover when Wale from Love Hotel shows up, which I'm like,
So,
ew.
this little toxic situation with him and Ashley, and
Yeah.
I'm just like,
I
okay,
wasn't feeling him on Love Hotel either because I was like, there's no way Ashley is taking this man seriously. This is a
he's
joke.
fine though.
He's he's cute. He cute.
He was fine on Love Hotel. I will say that on Potomac he seemed a little like different.
Yeah.
Like on Love Hotel he seemed
Yes.
fine,
He did, but it
but
was
on Potomac
him
they gave like
thirsty.
yeah,
Yeah. And one thing what I don't find attractive is a thirsty man. So
you
that's probably
know
why when
it,
he came in, I was just like,
it
ew.
went down levels for me for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So then listen, I'm gonna say this. Stacey is a strong woman because she walked in the party and everybody's energy toward her was so weird. And it's like only a really strong woman can walk into a room where everybody pretty much has it out for you and still rise. For lack of a better word. Like she was still just floating through the room. She saw her friend
Hmm.
Vivian, and that was a very weird exchange. Did you catch that?
I caught it, and I also caught Stacey's confessional where she ate her up basically. And that's really how you do it. You paid it.
Uh-huh. I can see you. I'll still say hi. I'll fix your hair.
At the end of the day, I'm on the show. You're not.
That's that. And we move
So you
on.
can feel however you want to feel. I'm still gonna
Mhm.
eat you up in the confessionals, and this is what's gonna make it to television.
So then Stacey confronts Tia about being different with her and then being different with the group. It doesn't seem like that to me. Like I think Stacey was just upset that she got caught in the lie and she wanted to have it out with Tia cuz Tia was the one that kind of called her out. What do you think?
I feel like the reason why Tia said that is because I think that Tia clocked the fact that Stacy has some reservations when it comes to the ladies and her man.
Yeah.
So she's basically like trying to bring that out. You Loki don't trust these women because you said that I'm the only
Mhm.
one that you actually fuck with and that you actually trust
Yeah.
around the father of your child. So why are you not telling them what's the tea here?
Yeah, just say what you
Put
feel
it on
cuz
the
they're
floor.
right, exactly. They're not afraid to tell you how they feel about you, so why are you being so hesitant? So Kay then brings the bone that she's carrying about Stacey and telling Chris what Monique said. And I like Wendy was so solid in this scene because Wendy's like, hold on. If this is about Monique, we should talk about this when Monique is here. And that's 100%.
Talking about Monique and her man when Monique is not here.
When Monique isn't here and when it's somebody here that
And it's
Monique
doing that
doesn't like,
I'm surprised Wendy didn't call Monique. Because she been whipping out the phone and just calling people.
why wasn't Monique there? Do you know?
And maybe she just was busy. I
Okay.
think that what I do like about Monique is that she's excited to be back on the show and be able to reformat and restructure her story to the world, but she's also not thirsty, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
The reason why Monique did not get a new cast photo was because she decided not to drive to the photo shoot. So she's not thirsty, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate that too. But once again, Cookie being super aggressive. I don't know. I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan of Cookie because Cookie gives me somebody that like things could escalate to physical violence with her. And I don't want to see that again on this show.
No shade. This is no shade. But I think Cookie thought we were on Love and Marriage.
Oh, that's why you said no. I thought you were gonna say Love and Hip Hop or
No, I'm Love and Marriage because like those on that show, those shows come from towns that are so small that
mm,
everybody from those towns are looking for camera.
yeah. Yeah.
So Carlos gets very lucky with that show because everybody wants to give the camera something. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It
Yep.
gave that. It
Yep.
gave that. So
Yeah.
I'm like, girl, this is not that. We don't care about the side characters over here. So you either
Right.
come correct or you don't come at all.
That's it. Like we could be done with you very quickly. I know
You know
people
what I'm
been
saying? We don't
living
care
for
about the
her,
side
but
characters here.
yeah, exactly. I'm not a Cookie fan. We get the final scene of Kay and Stacey going back and forth, and Kay, your character is flawed, Stacey. I would never trust you around my husband. What did Stacey say?
You don't have one. Gag me.
And got
Gag
Kay.
me. Touche, sister.
Right. That's all you can do.
I would have had to dap her up after the cameras went down. You ate that.
If you were a real housewife, you say, "Oh, you give a very
You ate
Law and
that.
Kiki Palmer on
On Legendary. On
Legendary. Law and
Legendary.
Kiki Palmer. Oh, you ate that.
You ate
Because
that.
what did you say after that, girl? Because it's true.
I love you. I love that. I love that you watch all the shows I watch. It's
Yeah,
so funny.
it was true. Yeah, if I was in that scene, I'd be like, you know what, Stacey? Actually, yeah, that I literally would have said that. Touche, bitch.
Touche, bitch.
And we get another to be continued after that. Now, Kay is probably going to be very hurt by that. And so I can see this argument going completely left. And that's probably why they gave us a to be continued. Angel's probably going to try to jump in and defend her friends or whatever, but it's going to be one big flop because neither Kay nor Angel are real readers like that.
Like when housewives rehearse reads or anything like that, that's not really my thing. But it might do y'all some. It might do y'all a service to befriend the gay or something. That's all I'm gonna say.
So they can at least just get a little bit better with being
They
on
need a
their
gay in
feet.
their life. They need it. No shade. They need it.
Yes, they need
Nene still credits her biggest moments to the gay influences in her life back in the day.
100%. I
You know,
don't want to say that because I don't want to seem like I am putting the gays in a box,
no,
but
no.
100%. That's exactly. You can tell that they don't hang around the community that
You
much
know,
because
they don't.
everybody on Potomac is an easy read. No shade.
Look who's quick. Look who's the only person that's really quick. Ashley.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, Candace also hangs
Mhm.
around the gays. Stacy, no shade.
Mhm.
Stacy hangs around the gays.
Her best friend.
You know?
Yeah.
So just saying. Just
Yeah.
saying.
So we'll see what happens next week. But before I let you go, do you have time to play a little game with me?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so this game is called Dinner Party Guest List, and you are hosting your dream dinner party, right? So you
I
got your
love
dream
this.
chef, the decorations are on point, the liquor is flowing, okay? And you get 5 invites. And for you, because you are a producer for Watch What Happens Live, your 5 invites go to 5 Bravo celebrities. Who are the 5 Bravo celebrities that you are inviting to your dinner party?
To my dinner party, Candace Diller Bassett,
Noted. I knew that. I knew that.
Nene Leakes,
100%.
Teresa Judice. Love Teresa down. Um, I really love Beverly Hills, so I'm thinking from someone from that franchise. But I
Hmm.
want, if they're at my dinner party, I need the conversation to be actually like intentional. So I'm really trying to think who would I need to really talk to from that dinner party. And I will say Cal Richards because I think we need to explore her queer identity and all of that. So that's my fourth. And I will say my fifth person, Bravo Celebrity, Toya Bush Harris.
Yes. Okay. I love that. Nene is certainly popular.
Yeah, but there's also I'm not one of those people that pushes Nene down like I'm not over here asking for her to come back because it's also you know how people ask for Mariah to come back on Married to Medicine? I
Mhm.
also say sometimes these people are so far detached
Yeah.
that I don't see a comeback. And
Sometimes
what
the
I,
ship is out.
and I don't want to fake forced situation when you're forcing this person, you know? Yeah.
That's a good dinner party.
And I
Now,
like that question because that's a format that I've always wanted to do on my show. I've always wanted to like actually host a dinner party.
yeah,
So I love that question. It's so funny.
thank you. This was such a fun conversation. Tell my people where they can find you, follow you if you would like them to.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I so
My
appreciate.
pleasure.
I barely get to be on the other end of things. I'm always hosting, so I appreciate this. It was so fun. Make sure that you are following me everywhere at Wellington on Air. Wellington with one L. Look, it's on the screen. Wellington with one L, Wellington on Air for all of my personal content and everything reality TV related. You already know, follow the reality rundown on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. There you'll get all of the exclusives from all of your favorites in the reality TV world.
Thank you guys so much for tuning into my recap with Wellington. Like he said, make sure you guys go follow him and make sure you follow the reality rundown. Like I said, it is a media outlet. So you're going to get all of your reality TV news. And he posts a lot of stuff first and accurately, or in the words of Stacey, hard and accurately. Make sure you guys come back and see me next week where I'm recapping again. Talk to you soon. Bye.